What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, where for today's video we're going to be checking out the TAKARA TOMY Transformers Missing Link Animated Edition Optimus Prime. And what a fantastic release to coincide with the whopping 40th anniversary. This is pretty much where TAKARA TOMY takes some of those original G1 toys, combine it with modern engineering, you know, the articulation which we would expect from the likes of a Legacy or a Studio Series figure, to create fully articulated G1 figures, which I think is awesome. You know, I'm someone who grew up with those Michael Bay movies, but even for myself, I can appreciate that this is an absolute banging idea, so I can only imagine how much of a dream come true this is for those of you who collected some of those original 80s Transformers. So first up, here we have Optimus Prime fully transformed into his iconic flat-nosed truck. This is also the mode that he comes packaged in, which again, I think is a great throwback to that original G1 release, and it is looking sharp. You know, for a figure which is pretty much based on an old 80s mold, this truck mode is looking awesome. I mean, check it out here from the side. This is likely to be one of the nicest looking G1 Prime cabs that I own in my entire collection. The back of the truck is so incredibly sleek, and you know what, despite this pretty much being a remake of the older figure, TAKARA TOMY have kept all of the iconic bells and whistles that made some of those original releases so special. So for example, there is chrome up front for the Decepticons to clearly see their reflection once Prime is savagely mowing them down. There's also chrome here for the smokestacks, some along the side. There's even die-cast integrated into the design. So the entire windshield is die-cast. The same can be said here for the back of the truck. And check this out, guys. He's also packing the iconic G1 rub sign, which does reveal that, guess what? Optimus Prime is an Autobot. Although one of the coolest parts about this guy for myself would be that all of the 6 tyres are rubberized. This guy can now roll out like an absolute dream, which I thought was brilliant. With the exception of the Legacy Beachcomber, we don't really tend to see too many rubberized tyres on proper Transformers, so that is wicked, and it's something which personally I would love to see integrated into the mainline more and more. And another thing which does make this Optimus Prime so special is that I believe this is technically the first time that this G1 Optimus Prime toy has kind of been given specifically the animation accurate treatment. So for example, deco wise, this is the closest that this mold has come in matching to how he actually appeared in the original G1 series, which I thought was brilliant. So yeah, a really nice Optimus Prime, incredibly well made, you know, in terms of the detail too. This thing looks incredible. So at the moment, we are off to a fantastic start. So, checking out some comparisons, as I mentioned previously, I am pretty much a Michael Bay baby, so unfortunately don't own any of those original G1 toys, so I've kind of whacked out the next best thing, which I think is the Earthrise Optimus Prime, although I believe the whole idea when it comes to these Missing Link Transformers is they are supposed to be pretty much the G1 toys, just with better engineering and better articulation. So, size-wise, I would imagine it to be more or less one-to-one to the original, but what I did think was kind of cool is that this is definitely a case where old is gold, because damn, the truck mode of the Missing Link Prime absolutely annihilates the Earthrise Prime. I mean, check it out here from the back. You really wouldn't think there was roughly 40 years evolution when it comes to engineering between the two. So yeah, that's kind of crazy, and it's also really cool to see them being roughly exactly the same size, at least when it comes here to truck mode. And just because I am an absolute sucker when it does come to the live action films, here we have the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. So officially the most recent incarnation of the character compared to the original. So again, it's crazy to kind of compare roughly 40 years worth of evolution. I think Rise of the Beast Prime is an amazing live action movie take on the G1 Prime. Although another thing I want to touch base on, which is more so to do with the figures, would be the quality. I mean, wow, just as standard back in the day, you would get die cast, you would get top tier plastic, you would get chrome and then rubberized tires. Nowadays, we're lucky if we get decent plastic. So I'm hoping some of the material choices that we can see here for Missing Link Prime can eventually make their way back into the main line. You know, we did see quite a lot of chrome included on some of those Age of Extinction figures. So it would be kind of cool to see that at the very least make a resurgence. And I also know we saw rubberized tires on Beachcomber and are set to see them return when it comes to Legacy United Sandstorm. But I'm really hoping that upcoming Commander Class Optimus Prime will also have them, because at the moment it's sounding like that may just be the ultimate transforming G1 Prime ever released. Now, as we check out the transformation for this Optimus Prime, this is really where you guys are going to see the missing link idea come into play, because there are some big upgrades here. So, to begin with, much like you would on the original, you are going to want to take the headlight and swing this here out to the side, but check out what comes along with it. That is indeed a fully articulated hand. So, if my memory serves me correctly, with the original G1 toy, you would have to remove the hands when going from robot into truck mode. So, that is not the case here with the missing link version. Everything is fully integrated, which I thought was awesome. You'll then want to do exactly the same here for this side, so swing that bad boy out. Once that's complete, you can then take a hold here of the shoulder and also swing this section here forwards, and then probably the most iconic step of the transformation would be to take Optimus Prime's head and flip it all of the way up just like that. Then what you'll do is spin here to the underside and take these tires and then begin kind of hinging them out to the side, really and truly just to get them out of the way. Then we are going to split the entire back of the truck right down the middle and then begin to bring the hips here forwards. Now, a recommendation that I would give to you guys would be to then pretty much make Prime do the splits, because we are going to want to split that crotch right down the middle exactly like that. So you are then left with a pretty mighty gap slap bang and center, and then for a few finishing touches, you are supposed to take the front toes, fold these here forwards on both sides, pretty much begin neatening Prime up. We can then take these wheels and snap them back into place. And as easy as that was, bang! Here is Optimus Prime fully transformed into his awesome robot mode, and I think this may just be the best remake that TAKARA TOMY have ever produced, because this guy easily looks recognisable as being one of those original 80s G1 Transformers, although at least when it comes to the engineering and the articulation, has been given a massive overhaul. But let's check out the details. So the head sculpt is super retro. I mean, this really does seem as if though it would perfectly fit in with one of those original 80s toys. And one big improvement this Prime has going for him would be the lack of a hollow chest unit. This time round, he actually has a matrix chamber embedded within, which I thought was such a great touch. As we check out the thighs, these here have been completely chromed out, and despite in their appearance being very similar to the original, trust me, articulation wise, these things are definitely packing a punch. So a really awesome Optimus Prime as we spin him around here to the back. Much like when he was in truck mode, I'm honestly surprised to see the lack of any kibble. You know, it's quite surprising that Hasbro haven't just used this mold as pretty much a blueprint for modern G1 Optimus Primes, because for this being kind of a first pass at this design, back in the day, Hasbro and TAKARA TOMY did something super special. This is a really solid Optimus, and definitely one which does have the touch. Now, as we check out Prime's accessories, up first, he is packing the iconic G1 Ion Blaster, and I'm not just saying it because this is based on the original, but damn, what a sculpt. This is looking brilliant. Probably one of the best Ion Blaster sculpts I have seen made in a very long time. Next up, there is one fully energized Energon Battle Axe, which is looking pretty sick. Much like in the animation, it kind of gives you the impression that it has literally popped out of his forearm, and I'm hoping that somewhere down the line we can kind of be checking out a chain accessory for a missing link Megatron. That would be the perfect companion piece to this G1 Optimus Prime. And you guys tell me just what a Prime would be without a matrix of leadership. So here we have a brand new sculpt, which again is looking sick. This can store inside the brand new matrix chamber, or due to the new articulation this Prime is packing, you can have this Optimus light our darkest hour. So this is sick, and much like the Ion Blaster, is probably one of the nicest matrix sculpts I have seen released in a very long time. And when it comes to extras, there are quite a few included. So here is kind of a trading card of Convoy looking awesome, recreating that iconic G1 Optimus Prime pose, which this new Missing Link Prime can completely pull off. And as we spin it around here to the back, there are also some pretty cool schematics of the Missing Link Optimus Prime. Next up, to pair along with Optimus Prime, we are going full-blown retro with an actual sticker sheet. Now, these yellow ones here, I believe you are supposed to kind of install onto the front skirt piece to make him match a little better to the actual animation model. To be honest, I really didn't like how it made the truck mode look, so I have decided to leave them off, but there are definitely quite a few options here. I mean, I think these ones are designed for the knees to kind of give you a throwback to the original G1 toy. So, yeah, these are kind of cool, but for myself, I don't think I'm going to be using any of them. But a wicked throwback to some of those original G1 toys would be this full-blown red Dakota. Now, I'm slightly showing my age, but I think this is the first time that I have ever actually had one of these, and for those of you who did collect some of the original G1 toys, you guys know that you are supposed to slap this bad boy onto the back of the box to reveal the tech specs of Optimus Prime, and not surprisingly, he ranks incredibly high. So I thought that was great. You know, the packaging, just as much as the figure itself, is packing some great throwbacks to the original, so yeah, this was a more than welcome return. But now we're about to turn to the main reason why this guy may just be one of my favourite Takara releases in a long time. The whole reason why he is under this kind of missing link subline. So back during the 80s, some of the original G1 toys had decent vehicle modes and decent robot modes, but the missing link in the middle was always that the robot mode 9 times out of 10 was a brick. Now, despite this Optimus Prime being very similar in design to his original 80s counterpart, he is far from being a brick. This guy can articulate like a mother, and in some ways even puts to shame some of the Legacy and Studio Series figures. So to begin with, the head is on a swivel. This can look left to right, which honestly just by itself is a huge improvement compared to the original, because I believe the head was static. Unfortunately, it's not on a ball joint, but to be honest, that's mainly due to the way it transforms. That plastic is just likely to be way too thin. When it comes here to the shoulders, these can rock backwards due to transformation, hinge out at 2 points. So this is the first point, this here is the second point. There is then even a bicep cut and a ratcheted elbow bend, which to be fair is very similar to the original, but this is where things are about to get super spicy. So the wrists can rotate left to right, but check this out, guys. He is packing fully articulated hands, Earthrise Optimus Prime style, which I thought was awesome. Can you guys imagine if we could travel back to the 80s and showed this missing link Optimus Prime to a Transformers collector? I'm pretty certain their mind would explode, but that's not even the showstopper, because just wait until we check out the torso articulation. If you take a hold of the upper chest, bang, there is an intentional ab crunch integrated into an actual G1 toy. That is straight up crazy. Now, granted, it doesn't go to the greatest range, but to be fair, it's pretty damn decent, so that is awesome. There is then a waist joint which can rock side to side really nicely. If you take a hold of these tires, now we are going to see what the legs are packing, and trust me, these have the biggest upgrades out of everything that we've so far seen for this guy. So the hips, they will kick forwards, they will then kick back roughly to that far. They can also kick out to the sides, and despite the entire thigh being cast out of chrome, there is even a thigh cut, which I thought was brilliant. The knees are ratcheted, and these can bend way past 90 to a supreme degree. And then finally, when it comes here to the foot, this can rock forwards, so he can now finally recreate the original G1 artwork. They can then hinge down, and then finally they can also rock side to side. And because this Prime is packing some die-cast in this area, it allows you to pull off some super dynamic poses. So I am incredibly impressed. You know, this missing link Optimus Prime, not only does he look great, but he articulates so damn well. And as I mentioned previously, not only would I love more than anything for a Megatron to pair alongside this guy, but I'm hoping Takara continue this missing link subline. I can totally see myself picking up more of these guys than I do Masterpiece, because they are just so damn cool. But as you guys all know, to see the true power of this Prime, we have to put him through the pose test. Now, checking out some size comparisons, and to show you guys the differences between the old and the new, we are once again whacking out the Earthrise Prime. Now, one thing which I thought was straight up crazy to put into perspective is that missing link Optimus Prime officially has more points of articulation than the Earthrise Optimus Prime. And then finally, the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. So, the latest version of the character and the original. Really crazy to kind of stack these up against each other. And so, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers Missing Link Optimus Prime, to kind of summarise in a nutshell how I feel about this guy, this Prime definitely has the touch. This is easily one of the best TAKARA TOMY releases in a very long time. This is pretty much the G1 toy, but made so much better. The articulation is incredible. You know, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I can imagine this being a dream come true for so many fans of the original G1 toy line. You know, you literally get the same Optimus Prime, but just made so well to the point where articulation-wise, I'd argue he puts to shame some Legacy and Studio Series figures. The materials are on point, the die-cast, the plastic, the chrome, the paintwork, everything looks awesome, and accessory-wise, he is packing the bare essentials. The Ion Blaster, the Energon Axe, and the Matrix of Leadership. There really isn't anything more that I would want from a G1 Optimus Prime. So yeah, this guy is awesome. You know, as I've mentioned throughout this video, the first in, I hope, many more to come from this Missing Link subline. I would love to get your thoughts on this Missing Link Prime down in the comment section below. What do you guys think? I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until my next review, transform and roll out!